Dallas puts the Clippers in the guillotine 123-93. A sad day for the people's team as the Dallas Pro Bouncy Ball team takes a 3-2 lead in the first-round series. Maxi Kleber with 5 3-pointers. Kyrie Irving, a very quiet 14 points as the Mavericks win. But the better story, ding, 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 losing locker room. That's where we will go. So let us discuss the question, which is a rather obvious question. How do James Harden and Paul George allow the Clippers to lose a home playoff game by 30 points? How do you do that? So I've got Yo-Yo, Detox, and Pendulum. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make bread and butter is what we're going to make. Because you think the bread and butter would just be playing with some extra effort in a playoff game. But what do I know? So, A, to answer the question, how do James Harden, Paul George, and the Clippers lose a home playoff game by 30 points? This performance made me want to puke in my mouth. I think I did actually puke in my mouth at the start of the fourth quarter. But it was an all-encompassing type of suck, as we learned from a baseball player recently. It was gutless basketball. There's no other way to say it. It was absolutely gutless, lackadaisical. I had a buddy of mine. Sometimes he'll text me for gambling wisdom. And he sent me a text during the afternoon. And I was kind of out of it. I was kind of, trying to get my day going. And he's like, hey, I saw on TV that Luka's not going to probably play. He might not play. Or if he plays, he's not going to be that good. And he's got a bad knee and all that. His knee's barking. And this is a time to go big. Bet big on the Clippers. And my response was, you're a fool, was my response. Because the key actors for the Clippers, and this has been a problem for years, and it was the same thing in the Lob City days. They've changed the actors, but the play is the same. The script is the same. The key players for the Clippers suffer from a neurosis. They have bipolar disorder. They go from success to suck and on a dime. Now, a lot of people go from good to bad, but it's just different. It's like a yo-yo. Up and down and all around. And even with that said, as my unprofessional diagnosis, even with that said, what the Clippers did in that game on Wednesday night was a masterclass in fecal matter. Paul George, he's in the big chair, right? I keep seeing these stories from the the NBA insider crowd. They're like, well, Paul George, he's going to opt out. People want to sign Paul George to a big contract to be their lead dog. And I'm like, okay. He was in the big chair, and right there, big chair on the Vomit Comet is where he was. A headliner who played hooky. He had 15 points. That's a lead. That's a lead guy. 15. It's not like Dallas is a good defensive team. They're not. How about James Harden? James Harden suffering from a chronic case of IDGAF. I don't give an F. He had 2 field goals made, 4 turnovers, 7 points, a minus 25 while he was out in the court, and a partridge in a pear tree. And then you've got Russell Westbrook, who was an absolute mamaluke in this game. He's a backup, but he's a Hall of Famer. He had a triple-double every game. Mr. Triple-Double had as many assists as my fat ass and your fat ass had. 0 assists. And those 3 players, all of them Hall of Famers. They will all be hanging out with Muppet McGraw, all of them. George, Harden, and Westbrook combined to shoot 22.2%. They couldn't even get to 33.3%, which would have been half the sign of the devil. But it blows me away. And it's not even, they're going to miss shots. I get it. But watching this, the attitude, the mentality, the style of play absolutely does just drive me insane. That's probably why I lost my hair. Generally speaking, the more aggressive team wins in any athletic endeavor. We have all heard that. This is not some kind of great epiphany that the more aggressive team wins. In a boxing match, the more aggressive fighter often wins, right? That's usually right. In a basketball game, in a football game. And the other thing, it's like, it's not like you're asking too much. Maximum effort and just hustling. Hustling on every play. It does not require you to be an Olympic athlete. You do not have to be an elite athlete. You don't have to have any athletic ability just to put effort in. And these guys all have great athletic ability. It's just craziness to me that this goes on. And it's like, why? We shouldn't be like this. It's insane. Absolutely insane. And is that Paul George we have talking about this? All right, here's Paul George on the Clippers' lack of effort in a playoff game.
I just think we just got to do a better job of getting in rhythm, playing a little faster. I thought that was their counter tonight, was to play faster offensively, which got them in rhythm and got them in a better flow. But that's got to be our mentality going into Game 6, is just playing a little faster. I think a lot of those, 3-point shots were late in the shot clock, where there wasn't much rhythm or flow to those threes. So we just got to do a better job of getting in rhythm with playing a little up-tempo, especially in the half court.
Yeah, the rhythm was a flat line. That was the rhythm, flat line. Since Paul George is now Podcast P, can I now I think I can play in the NBA. I do a podcast. This show's podcast. I do a podcast on the weekend. Why don't I moonlight and play in the NBA? How about that? All right, now turning the page here. Where does this performance leave the Clippers? Well, the obvious one, Captain Obvious, is they're down 3-2. It is not an elimination. It's not a best-of-5 situation. Surprisingly, though, I was walking into the studio, and I had this revelation from the book of Revelation. The Clippers are shockingly in really good shape here, sneaky good shape. And let me explain why. All right, all they have to do is win 2 games in a row. They've got 4 Hall of Famers on the team. You'd think they could win 2 games in a row. And this loss, you'd think it would put the pressure on the Clips, but no, the Clippers' loss will work as a detox. It's like a detox. Get those harmful performances out of your body, eliminate all the toxins. And James Harden and Paul George and Russell Westbrook, they play better on the road. The immense pressure from the great Clipper fans, they struggle with that. The other option, though, would be Kawhi Leonard get off his fat ass and stop malingering and stop with the if I see one more shot of him sitting on the bench with a goofy look on his face with the baseball cap, I'm going to throw something at my TV. But go earn your money. Stop with the absenteeism, okay? Enough. But what are you doing? All right, last word here. So we talked about the Clippers being in sneaky good shape, but on the other side, for the Mavericks, who had an oil painting in this game, do the Mavericks have the series in the bag? Do the Mavericks have this series in the bag? Well, absolutely not. I just explained the Clippers are in a sneaky good spot. Now, why is that? Kyrie Irving and Lukadoncic together have not done anything, right? As a dynamic duo, they haven't done anything yet. And I haven't really even been impressed with the Mavericks and their play in this series. They're up 3-2, but it's more about what the Clippers haven't done than anything that the Dallas Mavericks have done on the other side. And when you check the pendulum of pressure, the MALLER pendulum of pressure, it is actually on Dallas. It's leaning towards Dallas. The Clippers have already been eliminated. You've already eliminated them. I checked my inbox. You've told me the Clippers cannot win, that it's all over, they're done. So Dallas, right, they have to get this. You cannot suffer from tight-tuchus syndrome. If you get to a Game 7, all bets are off, right? The Mavericks still have work to do. They better not screw this up. Right, Clippers can come out loosey-goosey. They've already died. They'll be reborn if they win in Game 6, but in a Game 7, anything can happen in a Game 7. And the Clippers get their stuff together in Game 6. And more importantly, there's no such thing as Uncle Mo. Uncle Mo does not exist. The only Uncle Mo is a guy from Brooklyn that calls the show. That's the only Uncle Mo. Momentum is an illusionary phenomenon in sports. It is something that dumb sportscasters and idiotic sports writers came up with to fill space and to fill time. Period. Stop.